Good morning, class. Our lesson for today is all about imagery. But before we delve to the proper discussion, let us first read the objectives. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to understand the different types of imagery. Students will be able to identify and analyze different types of imagery in written and visual text. And lastly, students will be able to develop an appreciation for the use of imagery in literature and its ability to enrich storytelling. Now, let's begin. Imagery is a literary device that refers to the use of figurative language to evoke a sensory experience or create a picture with words for a reader. By utilizing effective descriptive language and figures of speech, writers appeal to a reader's senses of sight, taste, smell, touch, and sound, as well as internal emotion and feelings. Therefore, imagery is not limited to visual representations or mental images, but also includes physical sensations and internal emotions. So, imagery is when writers use words to create pictures and feelings in our minds. They describe things in a way what makes us see, hear, taste, smell, or feel them. By using imagery, writers make their stories more engaging and help readers connect with the characters and events on a deeper level. At this juncture, let's move on to the types of imagery. There are 7 types of imagery, namely visual, auditory, olfactory, gustatory, kinesthetic, organic, and tactile. The first imagery is visual imagery. Visual imagery appeals to the sense of sight through its description of color, light, size, and pattern. Visual imagery is crucial because it helps readers create vivid mental pictures, making the text more engaging and memorable. It enhances the reader's experience by appealing to their sense of sight, allowing them to visualize senses, characters, and actions more clearly. This connection through imagery can evoke emotions and deepen the reader's understanding and enjoyment of the story. For example, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So, these are the phrases that incorporate visual imagery. The first one is a host of golden daffodils. This phrase helps readers visualize a large number of bright yellow flowers. And the second one is beside the lake, beneath the trees. This description places the daffodils in a picturesque natural setting. The third one is fluttering and dancing in the breeze. This imagery makes the flowers seem lively and animated, as if they are moving gracefully. The second imagery is auditory. Auditory appeals to the sense of hearing or sound by including melodic sounds, silence, harsh noises, and even onomatopoeia. Auditory imagery in poetry is important because it brings the poem to life by allowing readers to hear the sounds described, making the experience more vivid and immersive. It helps convey emotions and set the mood, enhancing the overall impact of the poem. For example, The Bells by Edgar Allan Poe. How they clang and clash and roar, what a horror they outpour on the bosom of the palpitating air, yet the ear it fully knows, by the twinging and the clanging, how the danger ebbs and flows, yet the ear distinctly tells, in the jangling and the wrangling, how the danger sinks and swells. Clang and clash and roar, these words mimic the loud, harsh sounds of the bells. Twinging and the clanging These terms describe the sharp, metallic sounds of the bells. And lastly, jangling and derangling. These words convey the discordant charring noises. So these are the phrases that incorporate auditory imagery. The third imagery is gustatory. Gustatory appeals to the sense of taste by describing whether something is sweet, salty, savory, spicy, or sour. Gustatory imagery in poetry is very important. Why? Because it appeals to the reader's sense of taste, making the descriptions more vivid and relatable. It helps evoke specific sensations and emotions, enhancing the reader's overall sensory experience and connection to the poem. Example, This Is Just to Say by William Carlos William. I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox and which you are probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me. They were delicious, so sweet, and so cold. They were delicious, so sweet, and so cold. These words evoke the taste and sensation of eating the plums, making the reader almost able to taste them. Next, we have tactile imagery. Tactile imagery appeals to the sense of touch by describing how something physically feels, such as its temperature, texture, or other sensation. Tactile imagery in poetry appeals to the sensory of touch, enhancing the reader's sensory experience and emotional connection to the poem. By describing textures, temperatures, and physical sensations, poets can create a vivid, immersive atmosphere that brings their words to life. Example, To Autumn by John Keats. Until they think warm days will never cease, for summer has overbring the damsels. Who hath not seen the oft amid thy store? Sometimes, whoever seeks abroad may find thee sitting careless on the greener floor, thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind, or in a half-ripped furrow asleep. For summer has overbrimmed their clamicels. The word clammy evokes a sense of dampness and stickiness. Thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind. The phrase soft lifted conveys a gentle tactile sensation of the wind moving through hair. And these are the example of imagery. Next, we have olfactory. Olfactory imagery appeals to the sense of smell by describing something's fragrance or odor. Olfactory imagery, which appeals to the sense of smells, plays a crucial role in poetry by evoking memories and emotions associated with specific scents. This type of imagery can create a powerful, immersive experience for the reader, making the scenes described in the poem more vivid and relatable. Example, Rain by H.W. Longfellow. They silently inhale the cover-scented gale and the vapors that arise from the well-watered smoking soil. The clover-scented gale, this phrase evokes the smell of clover carried by the wind. The vapors that arise from the well-watered smoking soil, this line brings to mind the earthy sense of soil after it has been watered. Next, we have kinesthetic imagery. Kinesthetic imagery appeals to the reader's sense of motion or movement through describing the sensations of moving or the movements of an object. Kinesthetic imagery, which appeals to the sense of movement, is crucial in poetry as it helps convey physical actions and sensations, making scenes more dynamic and vivid. This type of imagery allows reader to feel the motion and energy with the poem, enhancing their connection to the text and making the experience more immersive. Example, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. Continuous as the stars shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Along the margin of a bay, 10,000 saw eye at a glance. Tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Tossing their heads in sprightly dance. This phrase conveys the lively and energetic movement of the daffodils, making the scene dynamic and vivid. This type of imagery helps the reader visualize the motion and feel the energy of the daffodils swaying in the breeze. Lastly, we have organic imagery. Organic imagery appeals to and communicates internal sensations, feelings, and fear, love, loneliness, despair, and etc. This type of imagery is important because it helps convey the poet's inner world and emotional state, creating a deeper connection with the reader. By describing these internal sensations, poets can evoke empathy and a more profound understanding of their experiences. Example, Birches by Robert Frost. So was I once myself a swinger of birches. So was I once myself a swinger of birches, and so I dream of going back to be. It's when I'm weary of consideration, and life is too much like a pathless wood. It's when I'm weary of consideration. This phrase conveys a deep sense of fatigue and emotional exhaustion, and life is too much like a pathless wood. This line evokes a feeling of being lost and overwhelmed, reflecting an internal emotional state. Imagery is essential in writing, as it uses descriptive language to create vivid mental pictures, appealing to the senses and making the narrative more engaging. For example, describing a forest with tall, ancient trees whose leaves whisper in the gentle breeze helps readers visualize the scene and feel the atmosphere. In conclusion, imagery is a powerful literary device that enhances the reader's experience by appealing to the senses and creating vivid mental pictures. By using descriptive language, writers can evoke emotions, set the tone, and bring scenes to life, making the text more engaging and memorable abstract ideas into tangible experiences, fostering a deeper connection between the writer and the reader.
Thank you for watching, everyone.